So the last class we were talking about JAXP API and we have actually used a tool in the Eclipse IDE to generate JAXP classes using XML schema. Okay. Here you'll find that the JAXP classes. What are they basically? JAXP classes, they're actually mapped to the XML schema, right? Yes, JAXP classes are mapped to XML schemas. Yes. So today we will try to use the components of JAXP to perform marshalling and unmarshalling here. Okay. Yes. So first of all, we'll unmarshal the data. Okay. Yes. See here. Let's say I got an XML document. Okay. There is that XML document. Just a second. It's another workspace. So I'm adding that XML document here. It's vo.xml. So you people know what is there in this vo.xml file. So it has got the purchase order details. In this XML document, you got the purchase order details. Now, let's write let's see how to extract the data which is in that purchase order.xml file using JAXP components. Okay. Yes. So the first and foremost thing, what you have to do is you have to, okay, actually, if I want to read the data from that XML document, if I want to extract the data from the XML document, what am I supposed to do? Which component are we supposed to use? Which component of JAXP are we supposed to use here? Yes. Come on, yeah, you people are familiar with it. Even I mentioned it in the last class. If I want to extract the data or read the data which is in the XML document, so which component of JAXP are we supposed to use? Unmarshaller, that's right. So let's use this unmarshaller here. Okay. JAXP context dot new instance. Here, first of all, in order to obtain the unmasked object reference, if you want that unmasked object reference, you have to do this. First, obtain JAXP context object. You have to obtain JAXP context object here. Okay, yes. Through this JAXP context, we can obtain unmasked. You see, create unmasked method is there in the JAXP context. I can say that here, the JAXP context is a kind of factory object for creating unmasked and masked. It is a factory object for creating masked and unmasked, I can say. So when you call this method called as create unmasked, simply it returns unmasked object reference. Just a second, please. Okay, just a second, please. Fine. Here, I'll do this. Okay. What is com.model? Com.model contains the JAXP classes which we have generated in the last class. Okay. Whatever the JAXP classes we have those JAXP classes in that package called as com.model. Yes. So now once we got the unmasked object here, we can use this unmasked to unmask the data. Marshal. So here unmasked to the unmasked you have to pass sorry, in the unmasked we got a method called as unmasked, okay, which we use. We have to supply that file name. What is the file name? po.xml. po.xml. Unmasked method actually it throws a checker exception. Yes, a second. Unmasked dot unmasked. So po.xml. You have to supply that XML file name here. Okay, yes. Sorry, we do this file. Yes. This way, to the unmasked method, you will pass the XML document in which you got the data. If you want the unmasked to read it and transform it into appropriate Java objects here. Okay, yes. So you will find that here you will get straight away, sorry, will ask you to unmarshal. So basically here the unmarshal method, what it does is it will return a JAXP element. It returns a JAXP element. Here the JAXP element object holds the purchase order type object. It holds the purchase order type object here. It holds the purchase order type object. You will find that there is a method in the JAXP element which we can use to obtain that purchase order type object. To obtain that purchase order type object here, we can use that method. What is that method? You'll find that you got a method called as get value. Get value. JAXP element dot get value. So what this method does, get value method, it returns purchase order type object reference here. It returns purchase order type object reference straight away. So now in this purchase order object, you will find that you have all the data. Okay, yes. So I'm sorry. Here, who created this purchase order type object now? We are not creating it. That is what I want you to realize first here. We are not creating purchase order type object. Who is creating purchase order type object here? Yes. Who is creating the purchase order type object? The unmarshaler will do that. Unmarshaler will do that. Unmarshaler will create a purchase order type object. That's right. So now let's read the data which is in this purchase order object. Let's see whether you got the data properly or not. So get comments, and then you have bill to address, ship to address. You can do this. Get bill to address. It is of type US address. We'll do this bill to. And then US address, ship to, purchase order type dot get ship to. Here we got the details. Name. You can read all the details. You'll definitely get it. I'll just read few details, not everything. Okay. You know how to read the data from the objects, right? So that won't be a problem for you. Yeah, get straight. So this way we can read the data. Now let me run this code once. Yep. So there are no comments. That's the reason why I got null. And apart from that, okay, the name is Robert Smith. Okay, fine. Now let's check whether this is the data which you had here. Window address, yes. Street is perfect, right? So similarly, you can read the other details using these objects. Okay, yes. So this way, the unmarshaller will simplify the process of reading the data from the XML documents, right? Just imagine or think about it. If you were to use JAX-P API, JAX-P in the sense the DOM parser and SAX parsers. So there, how much of code we have to write. So here you see straight away, it's very simple, right? All you need to do is obtain an unmarshaller object reference, and in that unmarshaller you got a method called as unmarshal. So when you call this method called as unmarshal, what it does, it returns a JAX-P element, and in that JAX-P element object you got the the purchase order object is wrapped. The purchase order object is wrapped in the JAX-P element. Okay, yes. So here you see, once you call this get value method, it returns the purchase order type object. That's it. It returns a purchase order object. That's it. You're done. So you don't have to worry about the nodes, different types of nodes. What else? Traversing through the nodes. If you're using DOM parser, you know what all the things you're supposed to do. If it is SAX parser also, you know what all the things we do, right? If it is a SAX parser, you have to create a handler, okay, and using the methods of the handler, you will read the data. Even then, there we got a lot of stuff too, and there is a lot of redundant code or boilerplate code here. So you have to write the code to extract the data from the XML documents on your own, and then not only that, here you have to transform that data to appropriate Java type again. That is also needed. Yes. You're talking about which JXP object here? Not using XML, but using XST. XSTs. And we saw this process in the last class. I think, Pankaj, you have to go through that once, then you'll understand. Okay. Yes. So we saw how to do that, how to generate this JXP classes from the XST. Yes. So they are generated. Fine. So now we'll do marshalling. So what is marshalling? In marshalling, what happens? Marshalling. In marshalling, here Java objects are transformed into XML data. Okay, yeah. Just a second, please. Give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry. So the marshalling is a process of transforming XML documents. Marshalling is a process of transforming XML documents to Java objects. So XML documents will be transformed into Java objects in marshalling. Okay, yes, that is what happens. Fine. So let's see how to do that. So first of all, in order to marshal the XML documents, we need a marshaller here. And again, we will obtain that marshaller object using this method itself. Create marshaller. That's it. We'll use this method called as create marshaller. Here, this method it returns marshaller object reference, which we can use marshalling. And have you noticed the package? In which package you got this JAXB API? JAXB API components, they are in which package? You can just check this once. They are in Java x.xml bind. Okay, Java x.xml bind here. Yes, fine. So Java x.xml.bind. This is the package in which you will find JAXB components. Okay, yes. Now we got the marshaller object. Let's use this marshaller to marshal data. Marshal. You got a method called as marshal. So you have to call this method called as marshal, and then you see sorry, we need some objects, right? Where are the objects on marshal? Java objects. So we'll create them. So we'll create a purchase order type object. Purchase order, and then we'll create address. Let's say we will store the address details. Address dot set name. Some name. And then street 123. Okay. Set city. So you got this US address object. So for both shipping and bill to, we'll use the same address. Let's say set bill to. So similarly, bill to. Ship to and bill to address, let's say, we'll use the same. Okay. So ship to and bill to address, we'll use the same address. Okay, fine. Now, so what is the next thing you have to do? Create items. item details we add them. Item dot set part number, set comment, it's a urgent delivery, set product name, product one. Yes, you can do that, but what is the fun in doing it? So actually, again, I want to clarify the things for you people that here again, otherwise people will think that yes, there are few people. Initially when you're looking at these things for the first time, definitely people may think that okay, we have to unmarshal the data then marshal it quickly. And I don't want that kind of assumption in your minds. These are two different things. Let's look at them in two different angles, separately itself. So items dot sorry, get item dot and item. That's it. And then we'll add this item to the purchase order. Purchase order type dot set items. That's it. So now we got a purchase order object. Okay, just look at this code. What we did here, we got purchase order type object. In this purchase order type, sorry, we have got purchase order type object, and then we are creating address object which holds address details. And then you see, I'm setting this bill to address and ship to address with this address. We're using this address here. Okay, yes. And the next thing, we are adding one item. So that item details are stored into this item object here. And then you see we are adding this item object to the items, which holds a collection of item objects. And then we are adding that items to the purchase order. Yes. So the purchase order has got the address and item details. Now what is the next thing we have to do here? Yes. So I got this data. Okay. I got this data. Now what I want to do is here, I want to transform this data which is in this Java object. Sometimes you will have this requirement. So what you have to do here, you have to read the data from the XML document, and you have to, sometimes you will have Java objects, and you have to send this data which is in this Java objects to another application. Okay, you have to send it to another application here. So that application, to that application the data should be sent in the form of XML. Data is XML data, let's say. So you see the Java application has got this Java objects, purchase order type, it's a Java object, right? So basically it contains this data here. Yes, it contains this data. So here, now let's marshal this data using marshaller. Marshaller dot marshal method is there for this purpose. You have to pass this purchase order type object reference, and then the marshaller will generate the XML data. Marshaller will generate XML data, right? The data which is generated by the marshaller, XML data which is generated by the marshaller, I want to transform I want to store that data, that XML data. I want to store that XML data into an XML file. Okay, so marshaller has to store this data into an XML file here. So, into which XML file the data should be stored. So you can specify the details about the XML file where you want the data to be stored. Okay, into which XML file you want to store the data, you can specify the details here. Okay, yes. So let's say I want the details to be stored, XML data to be stored into a file whose name is, let's say, test.xml. Test.xml, that's it. So this way you supply the details. Okay. So here, now the master will transform that XML data and then here you'll find that it will store that XML data into this XML file whose name is test.xml. So we are supplying this details, test.xml file. So simply it will store the data into that XML file here. That's it. Yes. Okay. Now let's run this code once and see how it works. As of now in this project there is no XML file with the name test.xml. Okay. There is no XML file with the name test here. Okay. Yes. So after we are done with this marshalling, I'll print a statement so that we are done with the marshalling. Done with marshalling. That's it. I'll run this code. Test.java. Run this code. Yes, it says done with marshalling. As of now, you don't see this XML file, right? Test.xml in the project. You have to refresh the project once. Refresh the project. Then you will see this test.xml file. Open this test.xml file. Yes, actually, you'll find that by default, this tool, okay, by default, this tool, you know what it does? It will actually generate the XML data and it will just simply add all the XML data in a single line without formatting it. It will add the complete XML data in a single line without formatting it. Okay, yes. Here you'll find that we want to transform or format this XML data. Yes. Just a second. Just a second. So now let's ask the marshaller to format this data properly. Okay. We'll ask the marshaller to format this XML data properly, okay, and then add it to the XML document. Because as of now, you see all the XML data is one line. It is in one line. So reading the data this way will be a little difficult, right? Yes. So if you want the marshaller to format the data, then you have to specify the details here. How? Here, so that in the marshaller, you got a method called a set property. In the property should be marshaller marshaller dot JAXP formatted output. Okay, JAXP dot formatted output. Just set the value to true here. That's it. Okay, so this line, it indicates that we want the formatted output here. We want the formatted output to be displayed. We want the output to be formatted properly and then add it to the XML document here. That's it. Okay, so now let's run this code. What happens this time? That XML data will be overwritten. Okay, the data will be overwritten here in this case. Okay, yes, it says done with the marshalling. Now you just try to open this XML file. Yes, this time you want the data in a proper format. Just check the XML data once. So hope this is clear for you people. So whatever the data which we have added to the purchase order object, now you'll find that it is actually stored into this XML document. It is transformed into the XML document here. It is stored into this XML document. That's it. So hope this is clear for you. Okay, any doubts? So you can check the state code once, how we are doing it. The Marshall method is used for that purpose. So we'll pass the purchase type or the type object, then the file details in which you want the data to be stored. That's it. Okay, if this is, we used XST to generate Java classes. Yes, that's right. Can we use XST to validate generated XML? Yes, definitely. That XST itself is used. The main purpose of XST is to validate the XML data itself. That is what the XST is meant for. You can do one thing. I want you people to try this once. See how to generate, how to validate the data using XST. All you need to do is just do the method. Just check once. Okay, all of you, I want you to try this. So this is how we use JAXP. Actually, JAXP is it a Java API or is it a framework? JAXB, B for ball. Okay, JAXP, which I'm talking about, is it a Java API, standard Java API, or is it a framework? Here you will find that JAXP is a standard Java API. It's not a framework or something like that. Okay, yes. You will find that there are frameworks also. There are certain frameworks also actually which are used for the same purpose. What we are doing this here, this is data binding API. JAXP is considered as data binding API. But you know, we got data binding frameworks also. There are data binding frameworks also which are provided by open source communities. Data binding. Yes. Is anyone familiar with it? Data binding frameworks. Bianio. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Binayo. You're talking about Binayo. Stream. Okay. I'm not sure about them. But I'll show you. There is one framework called as Castor, Binayo. But here we got Castor. Castor is a data binding framework. Okay. Yes. So this data binding framework, you know, it's also similar to your JAXP. What is JAXP doing here? No, here JAXP, it automatically handles the transformation stuff and all, right? So that means it will help you to have to process this XML documents, right? Yes. It will help you to process the XML documents, transformations and all. That is what JAXP does. You know, here the Castor is also similar to JAXP. Castor is also similar to JAXP. Castor is XML based. You'll find that. You see what it is? Here Castor is open source data binding framework for Java. It's the shortest path between your Java objects and XML, it seems, and relational tables. So Java to XML binding and Java to SQL bindings also are possible here using Castor. Okay. Yes. So here you'll find the documentation of Castor. You can just explore the examples here. So I want you people to explore this. Okay. Yes. You should be able to do that. Just a second. Castor. You can just write an official site itself, you'll find it. Or else you can go for this one also. Yeah, here the official site examples are there. Yes, this document is very helpful, a useful document. You can just check this. Yes, anything is possible. Now, without providing the support for validations, there is no use of this, this data binding APIs or frameworks. Okay. Now, the one which you are talking about, most of the times I think they're useful in integrated environment a lot. Yes. All of you, please try to save this link somewhere and refer to this later on. The concepts are same. The only thing is here, you got different APIs here. Concept is same, but you'll find that the same thing can be achieved using different APIs or different frameworks. That's it. Okay. Yes. So hope you people got it. Now, there is another framework which is similar to Castor, which also does the same thing. It will help you in data binding, XML transformations and all. XML to Java transformations, Java to XML transformations. Yes. Here, that API is called as XML beans. XML beans framework. It's a framework. XML beans. This is also similar to JAXP and Castor. There can be few differences here between the features. So again, you see the statement here. You can read it. XML beans is a technology for accessing XML by binding it to Java types, and that is what we are doing so far using JAXP also. Okay, that is what we did so far using JAXP also. Yes. Here, using XML beans also, you will do the same thing. So XML beans is actually provided by Apache. It is provided by Apache here. So these are the most popular, frameworks and APIs which are used in the Java community for XML bindings. Okay, for data bindings, I can say. Okay. Yes. So here you'll find that actually, I'll show you in previous case in Castor, you'll find that the bindings are done using XML here. I'll show you. Just a second. And here is the XML mapping file. I'll show you. Yes. Not even this one. Yep. You know, in JAXP, how we are configuring the mapping details? Java class to XML bindings, mappings, how we are doing it? Using annotations, right? We have used annotations. But here in Castor, XML documents are used. In Castor, XML documents are used. Okay, you'll find that here the bindings are all done using XML documents. I'll show you one example of this XML Castor mapping XML file. Castor mapping XML. Here you'll find the details. So you got an order class, an order item, and let's see how they'll be mapped to XML elements. This is how it is done. Just a second. Just scroll down. Yes. So this class called as order item, it is mapped to an XML element, mapped to XML element called as item. Okay. Yes. And similarly here the fields, that means the variables which are declared in that class, which class? Order item class. There is a variable called as ID in the order item class, which is mapped to the XML element called as identity. And there is another variable called as order quantity in the Java class, order item class. And you see here it is actually mapped to a variable called as quantity in XML. Sorry, it is mapped to an XML element called as quantity here. It is mapped to an XML element called as quantity. Yes. So this is how it works. So the same thing we were achieving it using annotations in JAXP. Okay. Yes. Similarly, you can try using. You can also explore. Okay, I'll give you this link also. It contains this mapping details. Yes, you can go through them. XML beans is another one. You know, if you're familiar with the concepts, all you need to do is just know how to use them. That's it. This is also used for the same purpose. Please save this thing somewhere. So here you got an example. So wherein here it is demonstrated how to use this XML beans. Okay, yes. You can check this. Okay. So you'll find that Java has got support for XML parsing and all. XML parsing. We got this API, standard APIs. Apart from that, there are open source communities. There are open source communities which are providing the data binding frameworks as well, right? Yes. So here you can use this APIs and frameworks to process the XML document in Java. Okay. So the next thing what we're going to do is, okay, so we're done. The next class I'll show you how to validate the stuff. Then we'll go on with web services. Okay. Yeah. I'll stop it here today and we'll meet tomorrow again at the same time. Sure, I'll do that.